as one of the oldest branches of Christianity, along with the Orthodox Church, the non-Chalcedonian or Oriental Churches, and the Church of the East. The history of the Roman Catholic Church is integral to the history of Christianity as a whole. This article covers a period of just under 2,000 years. Over time, schisms have disrupted the unity of Christianity. The major divisions occurred in c. 144 with Marcionism, 318 with Arianism, 1054 to 1449, during which time the Western Church under the See of Rome parted ways with the Orthodox Churches of the East, and in 1517 with the Protestant Reformation. The Roman Catholic Church has been the driving force behind some of the major events of world history, including the Christianization of Western and Central Europe and Latin America, the spreading of literacy and the foundation of the universities, hospitals, the Western tradition of monasticism, the development of art and music, literature, architecture, contributions to the scientific method, just war theory, and trial by jury. Roman Catholicism has played a powerful role in global affairs, including the Reconquista, the Crusades, the Inquisition, the Investiture Controversy, the establishment of the Holy Roman Empire, and the fall of communism in Eastern Europe in the late 20th century. Ministry of Jesus and founding. c. 04 BC, Nativity of Jesus. According to the Gospel of Luke, his birth occurred in the town of Bethlehem during the reigns of King Herod the Great of Judea and the Roman Emperor Augustus, and he was the son of the Virgin Mary, who conceived him by the power of the Holy Spirit. Christians see him as the divine Son of God incarnate, God the Son. Although the calculations of Dionysius Exiguus put the birth of Jesus in the year that in consequence is called AD 1, history places his birth more likely sometime between 6 and 04 BC. c. 28. Jesus' baptism, start of ministry, and selection of the apostles. The Gospel of Luke indicates that Christ was baptized during the 15th reign of Tiberius Caesar, which is dated in 28 AD. Christian Gospels strongly suggest Peter as leader and spokesman of the apostles of Jesus being mentioned the most number of times in the Gospels. Peter and the sons of Zebedee, James and John, constitute the inner circle of the apostles of Jesus, being witnesses to specific important events of the life of Jesus, preachings of Jesus, such as the Sermon on the Mount, and performance of miracles, such as raising the dead back to life, feeding 5,000, walking on water, etc. c. 31. Peter declares and other followers believed Jesus of Nazareth to be the Jewish Messiah promised by Yahweh according to the Jewish scriptures, and the predictions of the Hebrew prophets. Entry into Jerusalem. Start of Passion of Christ. Jesus of Nazareth is crucified in Jerusalem under Pontius Pilate, procurator of Judea during the reign of Tiberius and Herod Antipas, after the Sanhedrin, under the high priest Caiaphas, accused Jesus of blasphemy. He was then crucified under Pontius Pilate. According to his followers, 3 days later, God raised him from the dead. 40 days after his resurrection, the Christian Gospels narrate that Jesus instructed his disciples thus: "All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of time." 10 days later, Peter makes the first sermon converting 3,000 to be baptized. Early Christianity. c. 34. St. Stephen, the first Christian martyr, is stoned to death in Jerusalem. c. 50. Council of Jerusalem determines that Gentile converts to Christianity do not have to abide by Mosaic laws. This begins the separation between Christianity and Judaism. c. 52, traditional arrival of St. Thomas the Apostle in India, c. 64, Christian persecution begins under Emperor Nero after the Great Fire of Rome. Persecution continues intermittently until 313 AD, c. 70, fall of Jerusalem and the destruction of the Temple, c. 72, martyrdom of St. Thomas the Apostle at Mylapore, c. 96, traditional date of first epistle of Clement attributed to Pope Clement I written to the Church of Corinth, c. 100, St. John, the last of the Apostles, dies in Ephesus, c. 110, Ignatius of Antioch uses the term Catholic Church in a letter to the church at Smyrna, one of the letters of undisputed authenticity attributed to him. In this and other genuine letters he insists on the importance of the bishops in the church and speaks harshly about heretics and Judaizers. C. 150, Latin translations from the Greek texts of the Scriptures are circulated among non-Greek-speaking Christian communities. C. 155, the teachings of Marcion, the Gnostic Valentinus and Pentecostal Montanists caused disruptions in the Roman community. Persecution of Christians in the Roman Empire continues. C. 180, Irenaeus's Adversus Heresies brings the concept of heresy further to the fore in the first systematic attempt to counter Gnostic and other aberrant teachings. C. 195, Pope Victor I, first African pope, excommunicated the Quartodecimans in an Easter controversy. C. 200, Tertullian, first great Christian Latin writer, coined for Christian concepts Latin terms such as Trinitas, Tres Personi, Una Substantia, Sacramentum. C. 250, Pope Fabian is said to have sent out 7 bishops from Rome to Gaul to preach the gospel: Gatian to Tours, Trophimus to Arles, Paul to Narbonne, Saturnin to Toulouse, Denis to Paris, Ostromand to Clermont, and Martial to Limoges. January 20, 250, Emperor Decius begins a widespread persecution of Christians in Rome. Pope Fabian is martyred. Afterwards the Donatist controversy over readmitting lapsed Christians disaffects many in North Africa. October 28, 312, Emperor Constantine leads the forces of the Roman Empire to victory at the Battle of the Milvian Bridge. Tradition has it that, the night before the battle, Constantine had a vision that he would achieve victory if he fought under the symbol of Christ. Accordingly, his soldiers bore on the shields the Chi-Rho sign composed of the first 2 letters of the Greek word for Christ. 313 to 476. 313. The Edict of Milan declares the Roman Empire neutral towards religious views, in effect ending the persecution of Christians. 318. Arius condemned and excommunicated by a council convened by Alexander, Bishop of Alexandria. 321. Granting the Church the right to hold property, Constantine donates the Palace of the Laterani to Pope Miltiades. The Lateran Basilica becomes the episcopal seat of the Bishop of Rome. November 3, 324, Constantine lays the foundations of the new capital of the Roman Empire in Byzantium, later to be known as Constantinople. 325. The Arian Controversy erupts in Alexandria, causing widespread violence and disruptions among Christians. 325. The First Ecumenical Council of Nicaea, convened as a response to the Arian Controversy, establishes the Nicene Creed, declaring the belief of Orthodox Trinitarian Christians in the Holy Trinity. November 18, 326, Pope Sylvester I consecrates the Basilica of St. Peter built by Constantine the Great over the tomb of the Apostle. 360 Julian the Apostate becomes the last non-Christian Roman emperor. February 380 Emperor Theodosius I issues an edict, De Fide Catholica, in Thessalonica, published in Constantinople, declaring Catholic Christianity as the state religion of the Roman Empire. 381 First Ecumenical Council of Constantinople. 382 The Council of Rome under Pope Damasus I sets the canon of the Bible, listing the accepted books of the Old Testament and the New Testament. No others are to be considered scripture. 391 The Theodosian decrees outlaw most pagan rituals still practiced in Rome, thereby encouraging much of the population to convert to Christianity. 400 Jerome's Vulgate Latin Bible translation is published. This remained the standard text in the Catholic world until the Renaissance, was used in Catholic services until the late 20th century, and remains an influence on modern vernacular translations. August 24, 410, sack of Rome. Alaric and his Visigoths burst in by the Porta Salaria on the northeast of the city Rome. 431 The Ecumenical Council of Ephesus declares that Jesus existed both as man and God simultaneously, clarifying his status in the Holy Trinity. The meaning of the Nicene Creed is also declared a permanent holy text of the Church. October 8, 451 Ecumenical Council of Chalcedon opens. November 1, 451 The Council of Chalcedon, the Fourth Ecumenical Council, closes. The Chalcedonian Creed is issued, which reasserts Jesus as true God and true man, and a dogma of the Virgin Mary as the Mother of God. The Council excommunicates Eutyches, leading to the schism with Oriental Orthodoxy. 452 Pope Leo I meets Attila the Hun and dissuades him from sacking Rome. 455 Sack of Rome by the Vandals. The spoils of the Temple of Jerusalem previously taken by Titus are allegedly among the treasures taken to Carthage. September 4, 476 Emperor Romulus Augustus is deposed in Rome, marked by many as the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The focus of the early Church switches to expanding in the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, with its capital at Constantinople. 477–799 480 Traditional birth of St. Benedict, author of a monastic rule, setting out regulations for the establishment of monasteries. 496 Clovis I, pagan king of the Franks, converts to the Catholic faith. 502 Pope Symmachus ruled that laymen should no longer vote for the popes and that only higher clergy should be considered eligible. 529 The Codex Justinian is completed. First part of Corpus Iuris Civilis. January 2, 533, Mercurius becomes Pope John II. He becomes the first pope to take a regnal name. John II obtains valuable gifts as well as a profession of Orthodox faith from the Byzantine Emperor Justinian. 533 The Digest, or Pandex, was issued. Second part of Corpus Iuris Civilis. The Institute's third part of Corpus Iuris Civilis comes into force of law. 536 Belisarius recaptures Rome. 553 Second Ecumenical Council of Constantinople condemned the errors of Origen of Alexandria, the three chapters, and confirmed the first four general councils. 590 Pope Gregory the Great reforms ecclesiastical structure and administration, establishes Gregorian chant, was also elected. 596 St. Augustine of Canterbury sent by Pope Gregory to evangelize the pagan English. 638 Christian Jerusalem and Syria conquered by Muslims. 642. Egypt falls to the Muslims, followed by the rest of North Africa. 664. The Synod of Whitby unites the Celtic Church in England with the Catholic Church. 680. Third Council of Constantinople puts an end to monothelitism. 685. The Maronites used the power and importance to choose John Maron, one of their own, as Patriarch of Antioch and all the East. John received the approval of Pope Sergius I, and became the first Maronite Patriarch. 698. St Willibrord commissioned by Pope Sergius I as Bishop of the Frisians. Willibrord establishes a church in Utrecht. 711. Muslim armies invade Spain. 718. St Boniface, an Englishman, given commission by Pope Gregory II to evangelize the Germans. 726. Iconoclasm begins in the Eastern Empire. The destruction of images persists until 843. 732. Muslim advance into Western Europe halted by Charles Martel at Poitiers, France. 751. Lombards abolished the Exarchate of Ravenna, effectively ending last vestiges of Byzantine rule in central Italy and Rome. 756. Popes granted independent rule of Rome by King Pepin the Short of the Franks, in the donation of Pepin. Birth of the Papal States. 787. Second Ecumenical Council of Nicaea resolved iconoclasm. 793. Sacking of the monastery of Lindisfarne marks the beginning of Viking raids on Christian Europe. 800. 1453. December 25, 800, King Charlemagne of the Franks is crowned Holy Roman Emperor of the West by Pope Leo III in St. Peter's Basilica. 829. Ansgar begins missionary work in Sweden near Stockholm. 863. St. Cyril and St. Methodius sent by the Patriarch of Constantinople to evangelize the Slavic peoples. They translate the Bible into Slavonic. 869. Fourth Ecumenical Council of Constantinople condemns Photius. This council and succeeding general councils are denied by the Eastern Orthodox Churches. 910. Great Benedictine Monastery of Cluny rejuvenates Western monasticism. Monasteries spread throughout the isolated regions of Western Europe. 966. Mieszko I of Poland converts to Catholicism, beginning the baptism of Poland. 988. Saint Vladimir I the Great is baptized, becomes the first Christian Grand Duke of Kiev. 1012. Burchard of Worms completes his 20-volume Decretum of Canon Law. July 16, 1054. Liturgical, linguistic, and political divisions cause a permanent split between the Eastern and Western churches, known as the East-West Schism of the Great Schism. The three legates, Humbert of Montmoutiers, Frederick of Lorraine, and Peter, Archbishop of Amalfi, entered the Cathedral of the Hagia Sophia during Mass on a Saturday afternoon and placed a papal bull of excommunication on the altar against the Patriarch Michael I Cerularius. The legates left for Rome 2 days later, leaving behind a city near riots. November 27, 1095, Pope Urban II preaches to defend the Eastern Christians and pilgrims to the Holy Land at the Council of Clement. 1098, foundation of the reforming monastery of Cîteaux leads to the growth of the Cistercian order. 1099, retaking of Jerusalem by the First Crusade, followed by a massacre of the remaining non-Christian inhabitants, and the establishment of the Crusader kingdoms. In Latin, bishops are appointed to dioceses still largely populated by the Orthodox. 1123, First Ecumenical Lateran Council. 1139 Second Ecumenical Lateran Council. 1144 The St. Denis Basilica of Abbot Suger is the first major building in the style of Gothic architecture. 1150 Publication of Decretum Gratiani. 1179 Third Ecumenical Lateran Council. 1182 The Maronite Church reaffirms its unbroken communion with the Holy See. October 2, 1187 The Siege of Jerusalem. Ayyubid forces led by Saladin captured Jerusalem, prompting the Third Crusade. January 8, 1198 Litario da Conti di Segni elected Pope Innocent III. His pontificate is often considered the height of the temporal power of the papacy. April 13, 1204 Sack of Constantinople by the Fourth Crusade. Beginning of Latin Empire of Constantinople. 1205 St. Francis of Assisi becomes a hermit, founding the Franciscan Order of Friars. November 11, 1215 Fourth Ecumenical Lateran Council opened by Pope Innocent III. November 30, 1215 Fourth Ecumenical Lateran Council is closed by Pope Innocent III. 70 decrees were approved, the definition of transubstantiation being among them. 1216 The Order of Preachers founded by St. Dominic is approved as a body of canons regular by Pope Honorius III on December 22. 1229 Inquisition founded in response to the Cathar heresy, at the Council of Toulouse. 1231 Charter of the University of Paris granted by Pope Gregory IX. 1241 The death of Ogedei Khan, the Great Khan of the Mongols, prevented the Mongols from further advancing into Europe after their easy victories over the combined Christian armies in the Battle of Liegnitz, a Battle of Mohi. 1245 First Council of Lyon. Excommunicated and deposed Emperor Frederick II. 1274 Second Council of Lyon. Catholic and Orthodox Churches temporarily reunited. Thomas Aquinas dies. 1295 Marco Polo arrives home in Venice. February 22, 1300 Pope Boniface VIII published the bull Antiquorum Fidei Relatio, first recorded Holy Year of the Jubilee celebrated. November 18, 1302 Pope Boniface VIII issues the papal bull Unum Sanctum. 1305 French influence causes the Pope to move from Rome to Avignon. August 12, 1308 Pope Clement V issues the bull Regnans in Coelis, calling a general council to meet on October 1, 1310, at Vienne in France for the purpose of making provision in regard to the order of Knights Templar, both the individual members and its lands, and in regard to other things in reference to the Catholic faith, the Holy Land, and the improvement of the Church and of ecclesiastical persons. August 17 to 20, 1308 The leaders of the Knights Templar are secretly absolved by Pope Clement V after their interrogation was carried out by papal agents to verify claims against the accused in the castle of Chinon in the Diocese of Tours. October 16, 1311 The first formal session of the Ecumenical Council of Vienne begins under Pope Clement V. March 22, 1312 Clement V promulgates the bull Vox in Excelsis suppressing the Knights Templar. May 6, 1312 The Ecumenical Council of Vienne is closed on the third formal session. May 26, 1328 William of Ockham flees Avignon. Later, he was excommunicated by Pope John XXII, whom Ockham accused of heresy. 1370 St. Catherine of Siena calls on the Pope to return to Rome. 1378 Anti-Pope Clement VII elected against Pope Urban VI, precipitating the Western Schism. 1387 Lithuanians were the last in Europe to accept the Catholic faith. c. 1412–1431. St Joan of Arc, a peasant girl from France, has visions from God telling her to lead her countrymen to reclaim the land from the English. After success in battle, she is captured by the English in 1431 and is condemned as a heretic and was executed by burning at the age of 19. Later, investigation authorized by Pope Calixtus III would conclude she was innocent and a martyr. 1440, Johannes Gutenberg completes his wooden printing press using movable metal type, revolutionizing the spread of knowledge by cheaper and faster means of reproduction. Soon results in the large-scale production of religious books including Bibles. May 29, 1453, Fall of Constantinople. 1454–1599, 1492, Christopher Columbus reaches the Americas. 1493, with the Indicayet era, Pope Alexander VI awards sole colonial rights over most of the New World to Spain. January 22, 1506, Caspar von Silenen and first contingent of Swiss mercenaries enter the Vatican during the reign of Pope Julius II. Traditional date of founding of the Swiss Guards. April 18, 1506, Pope Julius II lays cornerstone of new Basilica of St. Peter. 1508, Michelangelo starts painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling. October 31, 1517, Martin Luther posts his 95 Theses protesting the sale of indulgences. 1516, St. Sir Thomas More publishes Utopia in Latin. 1519, Spanish conquest of Mexico by Hernán Cortés. January 3, 1521, Martin Luther finally excommunicated by Pope Leo X in the bull Decet Romanum Pontificem. 1521, baptism of the first Catholics in the Philippines, the first Christian nation in Southeast Asia. This event is commemorated with the Feast of the Sto. Nino. October 17, 1521, Pope Leo X confers the title Fide Defensa to Tudor King Henry VIII of England for his defense of the Seven Sacraments and the supremacy of the Pope in Assertio Septem Sacramentorum against Protestantism. May 6, 1527, Sack of Rome. 1531, Our Lady of Guadalupe appears to Juan Diego in Mexico. November 16, 1532, Francisco Pizarro captures Atahualpa. Conquest of Incan Empire. August 15, 1534, Saint Ignatius of Loyola and 6 others, including Francis Xavier, met in Montmartre, then just outside Paris, to found a missionary Jesuit order. October 30, 1534, English Parliament passes Act of Supremacy making the King of England supreme head of the Church of England. Anglican schism with Rome. 1535, Michelangelo starts painting the Last Judgment in the Sistine Chapel. 1536–1540, dissolution of the monasteries in England, Wales and Ireland. December 17, 1538, Pope Paul III excommunicates King Henry VIII of England. 1540, Pope Paul III confirmed the Order of the Society of Jesus. July 21, 1542, Pope Paul III, with the Constitution Licet ab initio, established the Supreme Sacred Congregation of the Roman and Universal Inquisition. 1543, a full account of the heliocentric Copernican theory titled On the Revolutions of the Heavenly Spheres is published. Considered as the start of the scientific revolution. December 13, 1545, Ecumenical Council of Trent convened during the pontificate of Paul III, to prepare the Catholic response to the Protestant Reformation. Its rulings set the tone of Catholic society for at least 3 centuries. December 4, 1563, Ecumenical Council of Trent closed. The decrees were confirmed on January 26, 1564, by Pius IV in the bull Benedictus Deus, 1568. St. John Chrysostom, St. Basil, St. Gregory Nazianzus, St. Athanasius and St. Thomas Aquinas are made doctors of the Church. July 14, 1570, Pope St. Pius V issues the Apostolic Constitution on the Tridentine Mass Quo Primum. October 7, 1571, Christian fleet of the Holy League defeats the Ottoman Turks in the Battle of Lepanto. 1577, Teresa of Avila writes The Interior Castle, one of the classic works of Catholic mysticism. February 24, 1582, Pope Gregory XIII issues the bull Integravissimus reforming the Julian calendar. October 4, 1582, the Gregorian calendar is first adopted by Italy, Spain, and Portugal. October 4 is followed by October 15, 10 days are removed. September 28, 1586, Domenico Fontana successfully finished re-erecting the Vatican obelisk at its present site in St. Peter's Square, hailed as a great technical achievement of its time. 1593, Robert Bellarmine finishes his Disputations de Controversia is Christiani.The. 1598, Papal role in Peace of Vervins, 1600 to 1699. 1600, Pope Clement VIII sanctions use of coffee despite petition by priests to ban the Muslim drink as the devil's drink. The Pope tried a cup and declared it so delicious that it would be a pity to let the infidels have exclusive use of it. We shall cheat Satan by baptizing it. 1614, Tokugawa Ieyasu bans Christianity from Japan. April 19, 1622, Pope Gregory XV makes Armand Jean du Plessis de Richelieu a cardinal upon the nomination of King Louis XIII of France, becoming Cardinal. Richelieu. His influence and policies greatly impact the course of European politics. November 18, 1626, Pope Urban VIII solemnly dedicates the new Basilica of St. Peter 1,300 years after the first Constantinian basilica was consecrated by Pope Sylvester I. 1633, trial of Galileo, after which he is sentenced to house arrest. 1638, Shimabara rebellion leads to a further repression of Catholics and all Christians in Japan. 1653, the Cunhan Cross Oath was taken by a group of St. Thomas Christians against the Portuguese. September 12, 1683, Battle of Vienna, decisive victory of the army of the Holy League under King John III Sobieski of Poland over the Ottoman Turks, under Grand Vizier Murtsi Kara Mustafa Pasha. The Turks do not threaten Western Europe militarily again. 1685, Louis XIV revokes the Edict of Nantes, and large numbers of Huguenot refugees leave France. 1691, Pope Innocent XII declares against nepotism and simony. 1700 to 1799. 1713, Encyclical Unigenitus condemns Jansenism. 1715, Pope Clement XI rules against the Jesuits in the Chinese Rites Controversy, reversed by Pius XII in 1939. 1721, Kangxi Emperor bans Christian missions in China. April 28, 1738, Pope Clement XII publishes the bull In Eminenti forbidding Catholics from joining, aiding, socializing or otherwise directly or indirectly helping the organizations of Freemasonry and Freemasons under pain of excommunication. Membership to any secret society would also incur the penalty of excommunication. 1738, Grey Nuns founded. 1740 to 1758, Pope Benedict XIV appointed first women as professors to papal universities in Bologna. Reformed canonization procedures. Intellectual open to all sciences. 1769, Passionist Religious Institute granted full rights by Pope Clement XIV. 1769, Junipero Serra establishes Mission San Diego de Alcala, the first of the Spanish missions in California. 1773, suppression of the Jesuits by Pope Clement XIV, already excluded from many states. Only in the Russian Empire are they able to remain. 1789, John Carroll becomes the Bishop of Baltimore, the first bishop in the United States. 1793, French Revolution institutes anti-clerical measures. 1798, Pope Pius VI, taken prisoner by the armies of Napoleon I, dies in captivity in France.